All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to morning yoga. Thanks for being with us. Let's go ahead and find ourselves in a comfortable seat. Feel that cushion below the sits bones, or if you're just cross-legged on your mat, sitting up nice and tall, lifting through the heart. And just like we always do, let's allow our awareness to settle into our body and into our breath as we start our yoga practice this morning. Maybe just gently letting go of anything that you brought with you to your mat. Often we show up to our mat with worries and thoughts and plans and concerns and all of the things that we typically carry with us throughout the day. The nice thing about a scheduled yoga practice, and I remind my own students about this often, is that they've already carved out a space, carved out a time, both physically here on the mat as well as the actual time out of their regular life. And so we get this opportunity to fully be here now. There's nothing else pulling us, nowhere else we need to be. Nobody needs to get a hold of us. And so a lot of the work's already done. And now we get to reap the benefit of all of that work that we've done to create this moment. So let's find our breath, find our deep inhale down into our belly. Find that deep exhale as it gently seeps out of our body. And taking just a couple more long, deep breaths here. And with our next inhale, let's begin some gentle movement, just taking our spine through some seated cat and cows, opening through the heart, lifting the chest on the inhale, and on the exhale, letting the belly button come into the spine and the chin drops towards the chest. So as we come forward and we lift that heart on the inhale, maybe allowing the gaze just to lift up to where the wall and the ceiling meet in your space. And then on the exhale, the belly button comes in and the chin drops towards the chest. So let's take a couple more here. Inhale, lift, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale, rounding the spine. And some flexion and extension, get some movement in the vertebrae. And with our next inhale, we'll come back to center. And sitting up nice and tall, long, deep inhale reaches our arms to the sky. On the exhale, we're going to bring our right hand to the earth as the left arm reaches up and over. Reach those fingers over the center of the head as the bicep traces over the ear. And with our next inhale, we're going to roll our sternum towards the sky. So gently rotate, twisting the spine as we gaze up. And on the exhale, our rotation allows us to gaze down at that right hand, turning the sternum towards the earth. So following the breath, again, let's rotate, opening to the sky. And on the exhale, rotate towards the earth. We'll do two more, following your breath. Feeling the openness in the shoulder. Opening through the pecs on the inhale. Side body is gaining some movement and some length. And slowly making our way all the way back through center, reaching all 10 fingers towards the sky. On the exhale, we'll go to the left. Left hand lands on the earth, right arm reaches up and over. Again, bicep traces over ear, fingertips reach out over the center of the head. We start our movement by creating this nice long side body. And then our inhale rotates us so that our sternum points towards the sky. And on the exhale, we rotate towards the earth. So again, we'll do a couple here, following our breath. Really feel the movement in not only the spine, but in the ribs, in the shoulder. Notice how that shoulder blade kind of slides across the ribs as we rotate towards the sky. And then it slides forward as we rotate down. So there's lots of movement here in the body. We'll do one more. And let's allow our next inhale to bring us back to center. All 10 fingers are reaching for the heavens. On the exhale, we'll bring our hands behind the body. Let's French press those arms down. So lots of activation on the side body. Arms are strong as if we're swimming through jello. Pressing, 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 and then the hands come behind the body. We'll interlace the fingers, chest rises to the sky, knuckles reach for the earth, and we're breathing into the heart. Long inhales, long exhales. And with our next exhale, we're going to roll the chin towards the chest, keeping those knuckles reaching for the earth behind us and feeling a lot of length along the back of the neck, down the tops of the shoulders. And with our exhale, slowly release, coming all the way back through center. Let's go ahead and slide off of our cushion. And we're going to bring our feet directly out in front. Let those toes reach up towards the sky. Get right up on top of the sits bones. Bring the kneecaps back towards us. Lift the heels up off the earth. Really reach out through those heels. So now the legs are nice and strong and active, feeling a little bit of fire start to burn in the body. Maybe even notice a little bit of shaking and shimmering in the legs. Quads are nice and strong, and we've got our belly active. The strong belly helps us sit up nice and tall. We'll take one more breath here and let the arms reach for the heavens. So lots of energy in the body, really building the fire of our practice. One more breath. And on our exhale, we're going to let our heels drop to the earth. We'll come to the front sides of the sits bones and gently throw the fingers way out over the toes. Belly button comes down first, and then chest and chin, eventually allowing the gaze to drop to the knees. And we'll roll our sits bones out behind us, lengthen through the spine, and rest here. Long inhales and long exhales. Letting the body rise and fall with each breath, letting the belly fill with that breath. If we get too locked into the static components of our poses, then we lose our ability to breathe deep. So these poses can be really dynamic. And one more here. And we'll let our next inhale bring us all the way back through center, sitting up nice and tall. Let's bend the right knee and bring that knee with us. We're gently going to cross the right knee over the left leg, and then holding on to the knee with the inside of our left elbow. So give that knee a great big hug with the left arm. Right hand will reach around behind us. As we lift and lengthen through the spine, we're going to use the belly to twist here. So instead of planting the hand and then twisting the body, let's see if we can use the belly, twisting as far as we can go by activating our core and then gently setting the hand down behind us. So the hand just kind of anchors us in, uses a little bit of a support, but we don't want that to be a guiding factor of our twist. Our gaze is over the right shoulder. Left toes are still reaching for the sky. Breathing deep into that right hip, breathing into the spiral of the spine. We'll take one more breath here. And on our exhale, gently unwind, coming all the way back through center. We're going to uncross this right leg and place the sole of the foot on the inner thigh, letting the knee come down to the earth, arms rise up overhead, and we'll take a forward fold over our left leg, letting the hands land down on the earth. They can land down on the leg or even over on the ankle. And we'll take one more long breath here. And with our next inhale, slowly rise back to center. We're going to stand the right knee and extend the leg out in front and let the left knee come in. Give that left knee a great big hug and then a gentle cross over the right leg. Again, we're going to hold on to the knee with the inside of the right elbow. So give that knee a great big hug in towards chest. Use the belly on the exhale to twist, activating the core, and then the left hand will land down behind us. Right toes stay active towards the sky, and you're welcome to gaze over the left shoulder. Long and strong in the spine, engaging through the belly, finding our breath. And from here, our exhale will return us to center. We'll slowly uncross this left leg, placing the foot on the inner thigh. Arms rise up overhead, and we fold forward. Belly button comes down first, chest, chin, and then gaze drops to the knee. And we'll find our breath here. And with our next inhale, slowly coming up to center. We're going to stand the left knee, bring the right knee into meet, and then we're going to rock forward onto our toes. So we've got lots of options here as we hang out in our squat. We can come all the way up onto our toes if that feels good for us. We could keep our heels down onto the earth and settle into a low squat. Or you're welcome to grab for a rolled up blanket or a bolster or something in your space to place underneath the heels if neither of those variations feel good for you. If you are up on your tippy toes, we're really going to move into some balance, maybe even bringing hands to heart center. Activate the legs towards one another, engage the belly, and we'll sit up tall. We'll take one more breath here. On the exhale, wherever you are, let the fingertips come to the earth. Heels make their way down as the hips rise to the sky. We make our way into our forward fold. Letting the upper body dangle here, and maybe even a shake of the head yes, or a shake of the head no. Hanging out here in Uttanasana, rolling those sits bones to the sky. We're in our full forward fold. We'll take one more breath. Placing the hands just below the knees, let's find a flat back. Lifting through the spine, strong in the belly. Long line from the tailbone, up the back of the body and out the center of the head. And as we exhale, we'll fold forward. Allow a gentle buoyancy in the knees as we come to standing. We're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Belly button stays nice and strong in towards the spine. Slowly rolling up. Engage that belly the whole way. Rolling the shoulders down and back and eventually letting our gaze come out in front of us. A couple of big shoulder rolls here, up and back. And then we'll come forward. And then slowly release. Let's widen our stance. Feet come hip width apart. Inhale, arms reach for the heavens. On the exhale, we're going to arc to the right. Go ahead and grab that top wrist. Give just a little bit of a pull. So just about 5% of your strength here. We're not trying to pull that shoulder out of its socket. We want to keep both of the shoulders or both of the hips even, both of the feet even, so that stretch is really coming down through the side body. And with our next inhale, we'll come back to center and crescent to the left. Feeling that stretch all the way down past the hips, into the leg, down into the foot. And from here, slowly coming back to center, and we'll let our hands come down by our sides. Let's take our stance a little bit wider. Allow the toes to point out towards the edges of the mat, nice and soft and buoyant in the knees to start. We're going to move with our breath a little bit here. So if your breath is a different length than mine, feel free to modify for what works for you. We're going to start in our 5-pointed star, reaching those fingers up and out, feeling strength in the belly, strength in the legs. Again, those knees are not locked out, so we've got a little bit of balanciness in those knees. On our inhale, we lift the chest, lift the heart. On the exhale, we'll drop into goddess. So gently bending the knees, bending the arms, come on down into a wide squat. And with our inhale, we'll rise up. So again, we'll take this with our breath. Inhale brings us into 5-pointed star. Exhale brings us into goddess. As we rise up, engage those glutes, lift the heart. As we find our squat nice and strong in the quads. We'll do 2 more here. Again, we've got a little fire burning in the body here, activating these large muscle groups. Take them as fast or as slow as you need to this morning. And from here, we'll rest in our goddess. One long breath here. And on our exhale, we're going to bring right elbow down to the right knee. Left arm reaches for the sky. Imagine that you've got a precious stone or a bowl of water, something in that right hand that keeps the hand active rather than just letting the hand drape down towards the earth. Keep that right hand active. And from here, we'll come back to center. And opposite direction, left elbow to left knee, reaching the right fingers to the sky, holding that precious stone in the left hand. And from here, slowly inhale back to center. One more breath. And the exhale will bring us all the way to standing. Let's heel to toe, walk those feet together. We're going to take a step back so that we're at the bottom edge of the mat. We've got the full length of the mat in front of us. With our inhale, our arms are going to rise to the sky. Reach up through those fingers, palms come to touch. On our exhale, we're going to fold forward. Nice and long through the spine, coming all the way down, palms gently pressing towards one another until we make our way into our full forward fold. Fingertips can drape to the earth, or we can interlace the hands at the elbows. With our next inhale, let's take a half lift. Fingertips can press into the mat, or hands can be placed on the shins. Rolling sits bones to the sky, long through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Gentle bend into the knees. We're going to walk our hands out in front, making our way into downward dog. Attempting to keep those heels down as long as possible. If it works best in your body to lift the heels to create the length in the spine, then please get those heels up off the earth. We really want to be mindful that we don't jeopardize the length of the spine for straight legs. So any heels can be up, knees can be bent so that our spine can be safe. One more breath here. Nice strong downward dog this morning. And with our next inhale, we're going to step our right foot forward. Let's plant the right foot in between the hands. We're going to ground our feet for warrior one. So as we come up, strong in the right quad, really pressing through the earth as the fingers reach for the heavens, we make our way up to warrior one. Reaching through those fingers, dropping the shoulders down the back. We breathe here. Just check a couple of points for alignment. Make sure that right knee is directly above or somewhere behind the ankle. Keep that left hip turned forward so that both of our hip points are pointing out towards the skinny edge of the mat. If you place your hands on your hips and you notice that your fingertips are kind of cockeyed, then just bring that left foot in so that your stance is a little bit narrower, and that'll help to shift the hips to keep them squared off towards the front of the mat. And we're breathing here in our warrior one, nice and soft in the gaze, soft in the shoulders. Let's take one more breath here. And as we exhale, our hands will make their way to the earth. We're going to step the right foot back, finding either plank or tabletop. Two options here, knees down or knees up. If we are in a plank, we're nice and long and strong, belly's active. And with our exhale, we're going to bring our knees to the earth, bending through the elbows, sits bones stay active towards the sky, and we come down with our chest first, and then slither forward, landing the whole body on the earth. We release our toes. Breathe here. And with our next inhale, find a baby cobra. Elbows stay tucked into the body. Gently lift through the chest, point through the toes. Maybe just the upper chest comes off the earth as our gaze comes out in front. The elbows stay close into the body. And from here, we lower down onto the belly. We've got lots of options to come back up into our downward dog. We can come through upward dog. We can come onto hands and knees. We can come through child's pose. So lots of options here to make our way into your dog, making sure that you choose an option that feels most appropriate on your body. If you're trying to press up through Cobra or from Cobra into upward dog, into plank, be really mindful that that low back doesn't sway towards the earth. Just want to keep you safe out there. One more breath. And with our inhale, our left foot's going to step forward, planting the feet for warrior one. Take your time coming up, nice and strong in that left leg. As we rise up, that right glute really helps to bring us all the way to our standing posture. Check your alignment, square the hips, drop the shoulders, reach the fingers. And we'll find our breath here. Nice and strong in our warriors this morning. Belly's active. Think about bringing that pubic bone towards the bottom ribs. Keeps the low back nice and long and the low belly nice and strong. One more breath here. On our exhale, our hands are going to come to the earth. We're going to step the right foot forward to meet the left, finding our full forward fold. And with our next inhale, we're going to take a half lift. And then we fold forward. And we're going to swan dive to standing. Soften the knees, arms reach out to the side. Back is nice and long and strong, and we come all the way up. On the exhale, hands come to heart center, and we'll breathe here. One more long, deep breath. And with our inhale, arms rise to the sky. Reach through the fingers, gently press the palms into one another as we fold forward, coming all the way down. Nice deep forward fold. On our inhale, we'll find a half lift. On our exhale, we'll fold forward. Soften the knees. We're going to step the right foot back and rise up for warrior two. So our stance is a little bit wider. We're going to rise all the way up. Arms extend out in both directions. Gaze is over the left hand. We want to imagine that we're trying to wrap this left knee around that baby toe, keeping the knee nice and open. We don't want this knee to roll in towards midline. So being really mindful of safety of the knee here. If you do find that that knee wants to rotate in, just bring your stance a little closer together. Reaching through the fingers, drop the shoulders. We're breathing here in our warrior two. One more breath. And on our exhale, we're going to windmill down, placing one hand on either side of that left foot. We're going to step back for plank or tabletop. Again, choose what feels most right for you. One more breath up here, wherever you are. And on the exhale, you can either come down through knees, chest, and chin as we did the first time, or we can take a chaturanga. Keeping those elbows in, we're going to lower all the way to the earth. And with our inhale, we'll find a cobra, lifting through the heart. Elbows stay in towards one another, point through those toes, peel the belly up and away from the mat. And on our exhale, we'll fold forward. Taking your time coming into downward dog. Again, find what feels most right for you. Just being really mindful on that low back. We want the belly to be nice and strong to help us transition. Just to avoid any swaying in the low back. Coming onto tabletop first might be the safest option. And with our inhale, we're going to step the right foot forward. Again, let's ground those feet for warrior two, nice and strong in this right leg as we come all the way up. And our gaze is over the right fingers. Shoulders are down and reaching out. Right knee is reaching for the right baby toe. We'll find our breath here. Attempting to let those shoulders be light. Fingers are floating in space. Gaze is soft out over the right fingers. Notice if you have a sharp gaze here or a focused gaze. Soften through the eyes. And with our exhale, we're going to windmill to the earth. And step the left foot forward to meet the right. We're back in our forward fold. Inhale, we'll find a half lift. Exhale, fold forward. And we'll reverse swan dive all the way up. Soft and buoyant in the knees, strong in the spine. Reach through the fingers. On our exhale, our hands are going to come to heart center. And we'll breathe here. One more long, deep breath. And with our inhale, arms rise to the sky. Palms come to touch and we're going to fold forward. Come all the way down. With our next inhale, we'll find a half lift. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to step our right foot back. We're going to ground our feet for warrior one. Putting these two poses together, we'll rise up for our warrior one. Breathe here. And with our exhale, we'll find warrior two. Gazes over the left fingers. Find that softness in the shoulders. One more breath. And on our exhale, we'll windmill to the earth. We'll step back for plank or tabletop. From here, we'll come down knees, chest, and chin, or chaturanga. We'll inhale either into cobra or upward dog. Slowly building these poses on our exhale, we'll find downward dog. Again, maybe through tabletop, maybe even through child's pose. Do what feels right for you. We'll take one more breath. And with our inhale, the right foot steps forward. We're going to rise up for warrior one. Reaching through the fingers, soft through the shoulders, strong in the belly. And exhale for warrior two. Gaze over the right fingers. One more breath here. And on our exhale, we'll windmill to the earth. We're going to step the right foot back to meet the left. From here, we'll bring our knees to the earth and we'll find child's pose, forehead to the floor. Breathing here, really settling into our child's pose. If it feels most right for you to bring the fingertips back by the toes to let the shoulders have a break, go ahead and take that modification into infant pose. Otherwise, you're welcome to keep the arms outstretched in front, or maybe allow the elbows, forearms, and hands to stay resting on the mat. One more breath here. And with our inhale, we're going to shift all the way forward. Shoulders come directly over the wrists. And we'll lower down onto the mat. Come on down, chest and chin, slither onto our bellies. Allow one cheek to land down on the earth. And we're going to bring our hands up overhead. We're in a Superman position here. Let's go ahead and bring our toes to point to the bottom corners of the mat. And the hands are outstretched over the top corners. So we aren't in a perfect linear line here. We've got a little bit of a diagonal in the body. With our next inhale, we're going to bring our gaze out in front. And we're going to press the left hand and the right foot into the earth while we raise our right hand and our left foot. So we're working the diagonals. So on our inhale, gaze out in front, raise the right hand, raise the left foot. Press the left hand and the right foot into the earth. And on our exhale, release down. Opposite cheek will land on the earth. Breathe here. And with our next inhale, we'll take the opposite diagonal. So inhale, gaze up. Lift left hand, lift right foot. Press right hand down, press left foot down. And slowly release, opposite cheek lands on the earth. We're going to bring our hands back underneath the armpits. We're going to press up and all the way back into child's pose. As we do this, imagine that you're trying to lift your belly over a beach ball. So as we rise up, we peel the belly up and away from the mat. So we're strong through the core, coming into a deep cat, and then shifting the hips back, landing the belly down on the thighs, forehead to the earth. With our next inhale, we're going to come back down onto our bellies, following those same cues in reverse as if we're rolling over a beach ball. So we rise up, belly comes in towards spine. Nice, strong, deep cat. Rolling over that beach ball, bending the elbows, lowering back down onto the earth. And from here, we'll roll over onto our back. Nice strong core activation there, moving through those cats, maybe feeling that in the belly. From here, we'll bring our knees into our chest with a gentle rock from side to side. We'll take one more breath here, just letting go of the hips, letting go of the legs, any tension that might have been forming in those warriors, and just breathe. We're going to allow the right knee to stay into the chest and lower the left leg all the way down onto the earth. We're going to activate through the core here. So we've got lots of options. I really want to make sure everybody stays safe. So please only push to your edge and just a little bit behind it. Try not to push through something that doesn't feel right. We're going to engage the belly and press the small of the back down into the earth. So that's our first cue. There's a gentle tuck in the tailbone that can happen, and with the knee in towards chest, we can feel that a little bit more exaggerated. So the small of the back presses into the earth. We're going to hug this right knee in, and then gently lift chest and chin towards the sky. If you want a little bit more activation, we can lift the left leg off of the earth. So we're breathing here. One more long breath. And on our exhale, we're going to lower the left leg down and then ease up the body back down onto the mat. Maybe even let your gaze look over left shoulder and look over right shoulder. So if you're feeling any tension in the neck as we come up, really think about bringing the awareness into the bottom ribs. If we can kind of knit those ribs in and try to connect pubic bone and ribs, it'll take some of the pressure off the neck. We're going to do one more here. On our inhale, hug that right knee in. Lifting up, engage the belly, and we'll lift that left leg off the earth. Again, if you want a little bit of the lower abdominal activation. And from here, we'll lower all the way down and extend the right leg out towards the bottom of the mat. Arms up overhead, full body stretch. And slowly release. Let's bring the left knee in. Let's give that left knee a great big hug, maybe a little bit of a rock from side to side. And as we hug the left knee in, small the back presses into the earth. We're going to lift up into a crunch and then reach that right leg off the earth if that feels good for you. Strong in the belly, one more breath. And on our exhale, gently lower all the way down to the mat. And maybe bring your gaze from left to right. And with our next inhale, come on up. Give that left knee a great big hug. Core is nice and strong. Lift through the right leg. Breathing into the belly. Again, the small of the back's really pressing into the earth. And then we lower all the way down. From here, we're going to bring right knee in towards chest. Let's hold on to the outer edge of of both feet so that we're holding on to the pinky toe edge of the feet. Gently pull those feet towards you. Reach the knees away. Breathing here in our reclining Baddha Konasana. If you can't reach your feet, then just hold on to the knees. Let those knees come nice and wide, sort of a lazy, happy baby. And we'll take one more breath here. And with our exhale, we're going to keep the soles of the feet together, but allow the legs to come down so the pinky toe edge of the feet is now making contact with the mat and the knees are open. Arms are out at our side. And in this posture, our belly button rises slightly towards the heavens, and we create a little bit of space between our spine and the earth. And we find our breath here, long inhales, long exhales. Just allowing our body to slowly start to downregulate. And with our next inhale, let's bring our knees together. We're going to gently pick up our hips and shift them to the left, and then drop both knees to the right. Arms stay out at a T, and you're welcome to gaze over the left hand, enjoying a gentle spinal twist. You want to try to keep both shoulder blades down on the earth. If you're feeling that you want to take this twist a little bit deeper, but you're not quite sure how to modify, there's one option where you can bring the left knee up a little bit closer towards your chest, or you can place your right ankle on top of your left knee. So those two modifications will shift the twist a little bit. The first modification will bring the twist higher. The second modification will open down through the hips. And we'll take just a couple more breaths here, finding some long inhales and long exhales. And then slowly start to bring the knees back to center. And we'll bring our hips back to midline. Go ahead and give those knees a great big hug. Maybe a gentle rock from side to side. And as we come back to center, we're going to take a mindful head to knee. Gently reach the knees away from the body. Chin comes towards the chest, forehead comes towards the knees, belly's in nice and strong. Lots of space between the shoulder blades. And we'll lower back down onto the mat. Feet come to the earth. And we'll pick up our hips and gently shift them to the right. From here, we'll lower both knees to the left. Arms stay out of the T. We'll breathe here. You're welcome to gaze over the right shoulder. Again, if you want a modification, that right knee can come closer towards chest, or left foot can come on top of the right knee. So two different modifications there, bringing you into a slightly different position. Wherever you are, let your awareness come into the breath, finding long inhales and long exhales. We'll take one more breath here. And with our next inhale, slowly standing the knees, we'll bring our hips back to center and then gently extend the feet out towards the bottom of the mat. Our arms are going to come up overhead. Reach through the fingers, point through the toes, breathe into the belly, and slowly release, letting your hands come all the way down by your sides. We've got our palms open to the space around us, and our feet are flopped open. So we're releasing any tension that may still be holding in the feet or the toes, letting the heels do the work. Letting the heels hold up the feet. Noticing that place where the heels make contact with the earth. Letting your attention become curious in this space. Does one heel feel heavier than the other? Does one heel seem to take up more space than the other? Just evaluating what it is that you're experiencing in this moment. And with our next inhale, we're going to reach through the fingers, expanding the fingers in each direction, opening through the palm. We'll take one more breath here. And on the exhale, release that expansive nature of the fingers and the palms, letting the hands come back down into a soft space. Backs of the hands are landing on the earth by our sides. And as we release that tension, that expansion through the palms, maybe noticing a softness creeps up through the arms, the shoulders, maybe even through the back of the neck, the chest, or the belly. Long inhales and long exhales here. And as we allow ourselves to rest in this space, let the mind settle into the breath. So just as we were curious about the contact of the heels in the earth, let's become curious about the breath. Let's become curious about how the inhale and the exhale feel. Let's become curious about the depth of the breath. And as the body rests here on the earth, we have the opportunity for the body to be in stillness and spaciousness, ease and comfort, so that the mind can use this time to just wander around the experience of the breath. And if you notice that your mind wanders off into thought, just to recognize that that's a natural tendency of the mind. It's what the mind was created to do, is to think. And so let's bring our awareness back in, giving the mind something to think about so that it doesn't wander away. Think about the length and depth of the breath. Think about the flow of oxygen coming into the lungs and entering our bloodstream. Wherever it is that your mind wants to gravitate towards curiosity of the experience of breath. And with the next inhale, gently allow your awareness to move down into the fingers and the toes. Maybe a little wiggle of the fingers, a wiggle of the toes. Maybe even gently roll the wrist or the ankles in one direction or the other. And then slowly coming back into stillness, taking a long, deep breath here, feeling the weight of the body resting on the earth. And with your next inhale, gently roll over onto one side. Knees can come in towards chest. And using your breath, allow your next inhale to press you up to a comfortable seated position. Again, one gentle movement at a time, slowly transitioning out of Shavasana. Using this time to transition into the rest of our day. We'll sit up nice and tall, feeling the strength in the belly. And together we'll take one more breath. Inhale, reach the fingers all the way towards the heavens. Palms come to touch. On our exhale, we'll bring our hands to heart center. I want to thank you all for coming out and joining us for our morning yoga this morning. And I hope that you have a very wonderful and inspirational day in your conferences. And I will see you tomorrow for our last day of morning yoga together as a group. Thanks for being here and be well.